I'll have a cup of tea, 1 sugar then.
I have Earl Grey, 1 sugar. Good morning, Andy Heasman. Unmute.
Unmute it, Andy!
Rick, can you unmute him?
Sadly, I don't wield that kind of power.
Right, we just have to message him unmute.
Hang on, I can ask him to unmute on Zoom.
Hello?
Ah,
Yay!
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Good morning, Liberty Tactics.
Good morning from where are we? Cardiff.
We're not in Dublin.
Well, good morning from rainy Mayo. It's a sunny, windy, rainy, normal kind of day here in the west of Ireland. And anyway, but a lot of hopeful action is taking place across Ireland right now. It's really amazing to see, and so hopeful for what's going on both sides of our ponds with the work that we're doing. So thanks for having me on here this morning, witches, and it's great to see us still holding it together. You're halfway there.
I think sleep might have helped us
that 3 hours we got our heads down because we did start to lose it extremely early, and Kat started fading by 11 o'clock. I looked round and she was like dozing. So luckily we had a couple of the pre-recorded interviews, so we did play that out. So I feel a little bit of a fraud because we had 3 hours, but we've got so many guests on, and we wouldn't have been able to. We wouldn't have been able to concentrate, and it doesn't do them any favours.
Completely discombobulated if you were trying to just cope with everybody, all the interviews. It's very mentally tough, you know.
Yeah, and
you have to stay
gigglers.
tuned into what everybody's saying and try and follow along with everybody, you know.
Exactly.
And the thing is, if one of us starts giggling, it could be, and this has happened quite a lot. It's the end of it, but people are talking something really serious, and the slightest
obviously not laughing at the
content. We'll just look at each other and we'll just go. So, yeah, we did the right thing those 3 hours.
Yeah, otherwise we just.
But we're being censored already, so no one can share the links.
Yeah, I've just
to the videos now for the live stream. Kat's just tried, and you get a message up that they're not allowing the content to be shared.
But that tells us we're winning as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's a really good sign, because they're terrified of you. They're terrified of the truth. They can have all the money in the world. It doesn't matter. They don't have the truth. That's why you're being censored. They'll spend all the money they have to stop that truth from getting out, you know. And that goes to show the power of what you are trying to do and what you are achieving at the same time, you know.
Well, Andy, let's talk about Ireland, because we came across you when you were talking about the immigrants over in Ireland and what was going on, and you also brought up the education system, and it was like, wow, you know, it was like listening to us. I'll have Earl Grey, please, Jason.
Yeah.
So it was like listening to us that you were battling, and it's like your videos are so powerful. You know, you've been outside the estates. I mean, you've got it seriously bad by the sounds of things with the immigration issue over there. What's going on? Because you would think in Ireland, you know, obviously because of the Catholic roots within Ireland, that they would be up in arms about this education. You've stuck with the abortion laws and everything. And how on earth is this allowed to come into Ireland?
Well, this is where we're at, you know. We are in many ways going from bad to worse, especially in the education with the schools and even the immigration, you know, which is they're still coming in by the busload. But my main focus for the moment is the children. It's of the utmost important. Things are going from really bad to worse here. They're making children in the school sign secret contracts amongst themselves for sex education.
Wow.
So this has only come to the forefront the past week. I've interviewed a mother. She went to the school to bring her concerns about, she was given a letter saying that the children will write up a contract in the school to keep it within the classroom, whatever, you know, what we're teaching them, not to be outside. So they're making underage children sign contracts in school now. And when the mother brought it to the school's attention and had a meeting in the school, the teacher called the guards on her because she was asking serious questions. The guards came and took her out of the school, took the mother out of the school and brought her to the Garda station. But luckily enough for the mother, she had everything recorded. And she showed it to the guards. And the guards were like, what? Hold on. You have to press charges against this teacher, he said.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she says, yes, I want to press charges against the teacher. We're going full steam ahead with this. They're trying to make the kids sign contracts. She was asking the teacher, why are you making kids sign a contract? Because of confidentiality and all this kind of stuff. But when you're reading into the sex education, which we're all very well aware of now, and what they're pushing from 3 years old upwards with explicit porn material, you know. So this is kind of where we're at. We were at a stage here where they were attacking teachers who were going against the agenda and wouldn't, like we had a teacher prisoned over here, Enoch Burke, who wouldn't identify someone as a different gender. But now they're not just going after the teachers, they are going after the parents as well. They're trying to, but they're not getting away with it because even though our Garda Síochána are completely corrupt and compromised, there is guards in there that are standing up against this. And, you know, it's very hard for them to come out, but they're trying to help people who are coming out.
Yeah.
So we are getting a massive pushback in a way, you know, in other ways. But to go on to another story there, just about the GPO and the stuff like that, you know, I've been working with Jana London, who is the founder of the Natural Women's Council. And I've also been working with people who were part of the Irish Education Alliance. And we've all come together to try and push back this as much as we possibly can for the safety of our children, you know. And we've been doing a lot of work over the past couple of months, and we have had great success. We've had people all over the country come together, especially down in Cork. I'd like to give Ross as well, if he's listening to this, a big shout out, because him and his team, Ross Lahave, him and his team down in Cork have been doing everything they possibly can to take the books out of libraries and schools, and they've been doing a massive job exposing it all, even having the guards come down and help them. But because we've done all this work, the mainstream media have come out and tried to defend themselves as usual. They're calling us all these crackpot Nazis, far right. They stood up in the Dáil. Paul Murphy, the TD, stood up in the Dáil and said, these books, which were taken out, which we're trying to take out of the children's section, he's saying are of the utmost importance of education for our children, you know, and that these books don't promote porn, and that, you know, he gave it all that, and that we're all far right Nazis and this, that, and the other. So Jana London came up with the idea to we had to counteract that. It was like, what are they doing there? So we went to there was also the mainstream media are involved in this. Today FM, who's a big radio station around Ireland, had Ilana Ryan, who is the CEO of Children Books Ireland. And all these, if you know the books, What's the Tea? This book is gay. All the real extreme books have been put onto the list for education through Children Books Ireland. And they've come out and against us, and they're trying to say that it's that Juno Dawson, who wrote these books, is an amazing teacher for children. Like, they were really promoting them, like they were really nice, gentle, pure kind of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was so ridiculous. So what we done is that we went to her office. We went to the Children Books Ireland office, and we had all the recordings of what she was said in the interview. And we played them recordings outside, but we didn't just do that. We had boards of the pages printed out. and we read off them boards outside there, and you want to see the reaction from the people in the
that
estate.
went round the other day, Andy? Yeah, it's
Sorry?
on 14,000 views. The video where you're sort of inside the GPO, is it? In like the foyer part of
Yeah,
it?
this is just before we went to the GPO.
Oh,
We went
right,
to the
okay.
Children's Book Ireland, and then we walked down towards the GPO, and the plan was to just have a little demonstration outside the GPO. And we had everybody there. We had the boards. We'd done a few speeches, and someone handed me the mic, and I just went, let's go into the GPO. Let's go in and ask the manager, because what the GPO is doing, which everybody knows, is the General Post Office. They are sponsoring the list of books for sex education. So they're sponsoring all these pornographic books to be given to the children. And nobody really knows about it. And people need to know. People need to know, like, especially our GPO. It's a very historical place for us Irish, you know.
Did anything come of
to
that?
see it go
Obviously,
so woke.
Did you get any security or anyone moving you up? Because obviously the video, it wasn't long, the video, was it? It was a few minutes. The one where you were
I think we were in there
inside?
for about 15, 20 minutes.
15,
We closed
20
we closed the GPO down. We demanded to
Excellent.
see the manager. The manager come over for like literally 2 minutes to say, stop what you're doing. It's not going to help you.
Wow. Well, what is going to help by not saying anything at all? They'd like that, wouldn't they?
Exactly. Well, you see, they try and make it out that we're not concerned parents, that we're just a bunch of activists that are looking for attention, you see.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way they try and spin it.
Don't they? They have to, it's the only thing they got right now is to attack, like just call us right-wing bigots and Nazis and fascists and trans
racists. And you know you've won them because there's nothing else. That's all they've got.
Yeah.
That's all they've got.
Yeah,
that's all they've got. We're right. We're spot on the money. This is an evil. This is the satanic agenda, as we keep saying. It's like living in Sodom and Gomorrah right now. Literally,
it is, and we're in such a time of lawlessness. You know, where we're seeing all these drug dealers and murderers getting off free,
and rapists,
literally getting off free when people like us. Like they're trying to come after me again. I have 6 more charges and they're all fake charges to try and get me back to prison, you know. And
so what are they for, Andy? What are they trying to
probably, yeah. What are they trying to pull on you, Andy?
All public order charges, all trumped up. Some of them I don't even recognize them. I'm like, I don't even know where this has come from, you know. Some of them are leading back to when I was outside me 5km during lockdown. I mean, they're dating back charges since 2020 and I'm only getting them now, you know. So there's a whole campaign that they have to try and take me out of the game because we are standing in the way. The likes of you and me and everybody that we're working with, we're standing in their way for them to get their hands on the children. That's why they want us gone. It's because it's us that are standing, protecting the children. If they get us out of the way, like they have our kids, you know.
That's why it's so important. That's why this is the most important thing that we're facing right now is because you're right. If they take us out of we just need to be in the way. They don't care about us as adults. They couldn't care less if we know or not. As long as they can get to those children, they know that they can change society, and that it's not happening. It's not happening. They're not becoming they are. That's the thing. Children, unfortunately, are the biggest commodity of all.
Exactly. It's big business with children.
Big business.
You know, I remember speaking. I can't remember who it was, but it was in regards to trafficking and the children. You know, the drugs are gone just like that. I think it was actually before that, but it was. You know, the guns. You know, they can only get used so many times. The drugs, once they're done, they're gone. But the children can just be used and used and used over and over again. It's the biggest business out there. And as you said, Andy, we don't care. We're going to lose friends. I've lost friends because people have got to just get over the COVID shit. Excuse me. Get over the COVID. It's done. We know about the lambs and everything else. And there are people fighting, but every single day, children are being exposed to this education. So all I'm asking, can we put as much energy as everyone's doing on the whole pandemic and everything, just spend a little bit of energy on the children. You know, we know it all. We do know
Children
everyone's done the whole thing to death.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just that simple. We just have to put our kids first.
Yeah.
Not just our own kids, but our neighbors' kids, our friends' kids. We have to make sure that they're aware of everything that's going on. And we bring things back down to the community level, because that's what they've taken away. They've taken away our community. And because they've taken away that community, they feel like they have a free run over us. So we have to bring back together that community. And by doing that, it's by exposing them as best we can amongst our friends and family, even though, yeah, I've lost everybody from all the work that I've been doing over the past couple of years. But you know what? I've been proved right in everything. I haven't been wrong.
And it's not one to gloat, but every single thing that we've been saying to our families who no longer talk, everything is actually playing out exactly as we said, because we've seen, followed what's going on. We know what's coming.
Yeah, we do. We can see where the ball is rolling to, you know, and it's not a good place. But I tell you, they've gone so far. They've taken it. They've progressed so far now that it's not just us. You know, we've been active with this, but the parents now, because they're starting to see what they're trying to hide from them. If they're, you know, it's the whole hidden fact of these hidden contracts, and they're not supplying the parents with the actual materials of the sex education, which has the explicit porn. Parents are going ballistic. You know, every day I'm getting messages and messages from parents asking, what do I do? What do I do? How do I deal with this? This isn't going to happen to my child. Like, this goes beyond anything. This isn't like, oh, your body, your choice, or anything like this. This has gone beyond, like, beyond grooming could ever go in the world, you know? And we don't have our local representatives to help us. We don't have anybody like that who's coming forward to stand up in government or in parliament over there. There's nobody taking the real stand where we need it. So we're kind of left for us to stand up. And that's where we have to realize that, I know we're saying, you do whatever you want, but leave the kids alone.
Yeah.
Now, I think we have a deeper problem than just leaving just leave the kids alone, because we have fallen ourselves so morally low that we have allowed this to get so far. And we have to take responsibility, all of us, in our own morals, to raise our moral standards. And when we raise our moral standards, we will then push this back, because we will have more moral standards. Yeah. So I really believe that how we got here, like, we didn't just get here overnight.
No.
We got here through a moral decline in our society.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's where, I do whatever, I don't do whatever a man and a woman do in their own room or whatever, that's completely up to them. Completely. I'm not saying anything, but we have to take responsibility and look at our own selves and ask, how did we allow this to get this far? How did we allow our morals decline over the past 50 years, which has helped progress us for them to get their hands on our kids in such a perverse way?
Yeah, and it all boils down to the sexual liberation movement, Andy. That's exactly in line with where, I mean, it was before then, but that in particular, the swinging 60s.
No, it is. The sexual revolution helped push the whole sexualization of our youth today. Yeah. Because everything has become so socially normal for us, it's easier for them to target our kids.
Exactly. I mean, if they tried pulling this stuff while they're pulling today 60 years ago, they'd have had an uproar immediately, because
it never happened.
They weren't demoralized enough at that point. You know what I mean? It had to come.
And there was still some like old school teachers around and everything to do the pushback. But obviously, I don't know how the education system and the university.
You see, that was when we had morals. you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Well,
have
my mum and
morals
dad
then.
were both teachers. You know, my dad's
Yeah.
not with us anymore. He retired a long time ago, and my mum is 71 now. And like their generation, it just wouldn't have happened. They would have been like, well, we're not doing it. And anyone we speak to who's sort of in the older generation, they're the ones who are like, we're with you, we're fighting with you, because they weren't demoralized at that point, whereas a lot more of the younger ones already are now. So they've achieved it to a degree, haven't they? You know, we have to stop it, put it in reverse. Like you say, we have to find our moral compass again and take us out of this deviance, and then go back, and then our children will not be surrounded by these huge influences that are affecting their brains.
Exactly. You know, we have to remember, you know, little boys want to be like their daddies and little girls want to be like their mummies.
Yeah, they
You
copy.
know,
They
we
mimic.
have to set the examples,
Yes.
you know.
I
We
know
have to
there's a
take
lot
our
of people
children
that I
back because
noticed. I don't know about the homeschooling over there where you are, but yes, in an ideal world, everyone I'm sure would love to homeschool their children. But the fact of the matter is, there are parents out there who can't do it.
no, I understand that.
There was quite a bit of, I noticed, like, oh well, it's their own fault to take the kids out of secretaries. But no, we should be here fighting for every kid. If a parent can't do the homeschooling, we shouldn't leave that kid behind. It's not, you know, it's circumstances. In an ideal world, yes, we would do that. But there are single parent families out there. Times are so hard, you know, and we shouldn't. We elect our representatives. You know, we should be handing our children over safely to school.
Yeah. And the whole system.
I don't like this. This is one part of this whole truth community that I don't like. That they get very aggressive if people aren't following their way. People are at different stages of waking up, aren't they?
But that's where we have to be gentle with each other, you know, and understanding everybody has a different situation, you know, that needs, you know, with children, whatever it is. And what we have to, like, this is unprecedented times. People have to understand everyone is trying to do something to the best of their ability, and it's never the same as another person. No, we don't have a book that we can follow that has given us instructions of what we do in these times. No. And I'm over here trying to do what I do. Yous are over there, and believe me, you want to see the amount of people that don't agree with me because of what I do. You know, but look, just get out and do what you know how to do best to fight for your children. Yeah. And leave everybody do what they can do, they're doing best, because we're trying to do it in the best of our capacity, because we've no instructions for this. Yeah, you know,
and we don't have the funding.
It doesn't get any more passionate than fighting for your children's lives.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
Really, and the thing is, we are fighting $1 billion trillion machine.
Yep.
That's what we're up against. Yeah. You know, and we're just everyday working families who just want the right thing for our children. And look what happens. Our little podcast. I mean, we've been on air like for 15 years. Liberty Tactical, well, about 12 years, completely censored. Things can't get out. So we're not going to give up, though. That's what they want. They think in the censorship and that no one sees our post. Why they continue? Well, we're never going to stop.
Well, look at us now. Harder than doing
we're all
that
unemployable.
Anyway.
You know, can't get anything because people, unfortunately, with the times we're living in, is they go straight to social media. You know, obviously, if we had the LGBTQ blah blah whatever flags up on our pages and Extinction Rebellion and what have you, we will obviously we would get funding left, right, and centre. But what do we get? We get nothing but attacked.
Yeah, and you know, for anybody that's out there and listening to this, you know, please donate to the girls here. Help them with their cause. You know, they really need as much as they possibly can get. You know, for this. You know, they're giving up basically their lives the same way I am here. You give up your life to save these children. And what we're seriously lacking is people that can come in and that have money and can change the game, can turn it on its head if they come in and give us the right resources for what we need, because they have all the resources. We only have each other, and we're running on pennies.
Well, that's it.
Same as myself here. I'm running on pennies. We just got refused for the protection order cost in the High Court case to stop injections on children. You know, I mean, we're we're just as desperate over here as well. It costs 100 grand to get that done. We don't have it, you know. We don't have it. We're, you know, in that direction, they're shutting us out because they have turned everything into a civil matter where you have to go into the high courts and pay big money to try and get a result. And they know we don't have the money. So it's all set up deliberately to stop us, to censor us,
they're
to
pricing
shut
us out
us down,
of everything.
to
That's
drain
exactly,
us from everything we have,
exactly
the demoralize.
Totally pricing us out. Everything, you know, we have to all do it. We have to do everything ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, we don't go for backers. We're never going to be silenced. These, you know, it's all about grassroots now. But we can only go so far. We're all unemployable. We're putting our own money into everything that we do. There's no funders. We've got 4 dear friends that will put in and help us. You know, and
fair play to them.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, we're fighting for the children of Wales, England. Difference. It doesn't matter. Every child. That's what these group of 4 parents are up against, and it's not fair on them to.
Well, and it does. I just want to make it clear as well. Obviously, you know, Andy, but for any, you know, the listeners and stuff, you know, because we did the judicial review in Wales, and obviously we took the Welsh government to court. A lot of people are under the assumption that this education is a Welsh education. I just want to, you know, reiterate that it's a global education. It's actually in 52 countries worldwide, and all 4 UK governments signed up to this, the same education in March 2017.
But they've got the who was it who was saying it? So we've got the UNESCO, but Ireland.
We've got the WHO as well. It's the same, exactly the same.
I thought they were the two. Oh, they're exactly right.
They're the two pieces of legislative documents, the WHO documents, the UNESCO documents, but all 4 governments signed up to those 2 documents. So, you know, we had the content, the lesson content in Scotland and England and Ireland first. They still don't give much lesson content here. But what they did here was even more sneakier, is they legislated it here first. So we're all in the same storm, but different boats. Do you know what I mean? It is going to be a time when we're all seeing it now. We're seeing the fallout of what's going on. We're seeing what our children are coming home and saying what's gone on in school. We're seeing just a huge number of particularly teenage girls identifying as boys and becoming trans. You know, we are seeing the fallout of this education on a massive scale, and it is frightening.
Can I just say, we've got a problem with the screen at the moment, so we keep doing. We had a little virtual studio built, but we seem to be having problems with it today.
Lighting.
With the lighting.
But so I do accept that anyway.
We don't have a film crew. It's just us guys. So we're doing our best to make this that people want.
Where's your entourage?
Yeah, exactly. Isn't it? It's all done by us.
So he's done a brilliant
job. He really has. But I mean, it's got to stop. We've now got thrown into the mix as well. Our children also being approached by strangers from other countries who are being let in. This is both sides. Undocumented people. Over here, they're being put up in hotels. They're then moving into flats that are paid for by Serco, and it was Del Irons, wasn't it? He phoned up Serco
pretended he was a landlord,
and property owner, and he had flats. And basically, they're encouraging landlords to get rid of their their tenants and to hand their flats over for 6 years to immigrants who will have their electricity and their gas and their food, their mobile phones given to them, mobile phone bills paid for 6 months.
Through Serco
because they're not allowed to be, they can't work until they've been got their citizenship. So we don't know who these people are. We don't know where they're coming from. I did a short video of a gentleman sitting outside a newsagent's on a blanket with his little Jack Russell. While he's sitting out there, 3 big burly men walk into the shop, head to toe in Nike and Adidas gear, going in, not very well spoken, couldn't really speak English, asking for help to use the new mobile phones that they've just been given and to enter the credit that they've just got on, while there's an English guy sitting outside the street on a blanket with his Jack Russell. I went in, I got him a coffee, and it turns out these 3 men were from Georgia. I couldn't see, they certainly weren't desperate families fleeing.
No.
There is a lady who works in one of the shops in this area, and she's from Slovakia. She's from that part of the world. And I was talking to her, and she said, "Do you know what I think's happening here? England's being invaded. There's a Trojan horse coming in.
It's exactly the same.
And they
exactly
are
what's
in
happening
Ireland.
here.
From what we're seeing, they're preying on the Irish girls. What stories can you tell us about that, Andy? Because this is equally as important on what's going on, especially now they're trying to make sex with children, adults and children, legal.
Yeah.
This very important subject,
It is, and especially with the sex education and the immigration problem, I do see a connection, and because a lot of these people that are coming in as Muslims, and I see a major problem there because Muslims are allowed, in Islam, you're allowed to marry underage girls, and that will go side by side with the sex education that they're trying to bring in. They're trying to they're lowering down the age of consent all the time. Yeah. I think they're going to try and do away with it now eventually.
Yeah.
And
I think they are. They've been going for it for a long time, actually. The lowering of consent, or even abolishing it. And we knew this back in the 70s and 80s with the likes of Pye and Nambla, what their intentions were.
So, we're having a lot of instances over here. There was an immigrant recorded on the bus. He was trying to feel up a girl's leg. She had to jump off the bus. There's stabbings, there's murders, there's rapes. I mean, it's all happening one after another constantly. I'm seeing videos of more bus loads. They have refugee camps set up in every county in Ireland, and they're bringing 120 people to the refugee camps every month. They go into the refugee camp and then they're spread out across the country, and there's one in every county.
Wow.
So this is how bad it really is, They are being put into places so empty, places so full, they're putting them into nursing homes.
Crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
It is crazy.
And, crazy.
Like my mother, I'm in a very, very secluded place in Knoxryan here, and nobody comes here. But my mother, she has people knocking on the door. She doesn't know who they are. They're very suspicious looking, I mean, she's a bit terrified to open the door. And this is around here even,
Yeah.
I mean, so you don't know people are terrified. They don't know who's going to be at the door. They don't know who they are. There's even people they're dressing up as guards, knocking on people's door, trying to get into their houses. They're trying every trick in the book.
Yeah.
They're trying every trick in the book. And that's going to continue until we've just completely destroyed ourselves. It's just going to turn into a third world country.
Yeah.
Andy Heasman, thank you so much for coming on. We do need to do another show.
Definitely.
Because you guys in Ireland are fighting exactly the same as what we are. You're on board, and you guys are doing amazing work over there in Ireland. So keep it up, Andy, and let's do another show maybe next week and really dig into it. But thank you so much for supporting, and maybe you could just say a few words to encourage people of why they should support this cause.
Well, why we need to support this is because children right now are being put into such a desperate place in the schools, in the libraries, across the board. The people that they thought we thought we could trust the most have deceived us. And that's why the ladies here, with the work that they're doing, they need all the help that you can get. Even if it's just the price of a cup of coffee, please donate to these girls. Help them with their work. Give them the resources that they need. If you can't give your time, give a few bob. And don't forget, keep them all very much in your prayers, because without God, we have nothing and we'll get nothing done. Thanks very much, ladies, for what you do. Lots of love here from Ireland. Please keep up the good work.
Straight back at you, Andy, and God bless you, and thank you.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.